elevates us to the point where they are game changers. I can't say any of them are.
Yes. And the reason why I say that is because I do believe when you lost Delvin Breaux week one, that was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then the following week, you lose your second best corner, which was P.J. Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's too hard to overcome. Let's remember when Delvin Breaux got hurt, the Saints were leading Oakland 21-0. I mean, they had a 21-point lead and they blew it because they couldn't stop anybody. And you basically forced Ken Crowley, who should have been a special teams player, you forced him into action.
Yeah,
and you forced him to be your starter. So I think having P.J. Williams definitely accounts for at least one victory.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to say when it comes to Sheldon Rankins being out, I do think he could have helped. I do. Maybe even if it's a victory early, I think Atlanta still wins that game regardless of what happens. But I think the first two games versus New York and versus Oakland, I think Sheldon Rankins could have definitely helped. Derek Carr at some times during that game had way too much time during that comeback, and I think the Saints kind of didn't have an answer for it. So, yeah, some of that inside pressure, because we all know any quarterback, that pressure from the outside, they can handle that. They can see it coming. You can slide up in the pocket. But when the pressure's coming right up the middle, there's no way for you to go, especially if you're not Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, to where you can escape the pocket, maybe even Kaepernick to a certain degree and rush for, 60 yards. If you can't do that, you're in trouble if the middle of the pocket is collapsing on you. So I do think those two guys. Now, when you're talking about Damian Swan, I think his ability to play nickel corner could have solidified some things, but I'm not going to say he's a definite reason why the Saints would have won or lost the game. But I think P.J. Williams and Sheldon Rankins and definitely Delvin Breaux, those guys, if we're going to count them. Now, DJ Petway, Obum Gwacham, Halori Kakaha, I still don't believe in Kakaha just yet, simply because I don't think the Saints believe in him. I think they believe he can be a situational pass rusher. But in every down defensive end, I know the stats. Somebody corrected me quickly when I told them I don't know about Kikaha. They told me, he played in those games. He has 4 forced fumbles and 4 sacks, and I'm like, okay, cool. All of that sounds good. But the thing in the NFL is there's this thing called game film, and teams will watch and they will try their best to try to isolate that. So yeah, he played well in his limited action, but teams would have game film on him, and this year there's no guarantee he would have been able to double that success. Not that he wouldn't have been great, but still. So I don't know about the rest of the guys, but the 3 that I named, I think they definitely contribute to win.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there, but I really want Patrick to get on this. I can see what you're saying with P.J. Williams, Delvin Breaux. I agree. I could see one game changing, and that would take us from being below 500 to above 500. I still don't see that making us an elite playoff team, which is what we really need. Now, I disagree with you on the Sheldon Rankins because, to me, it's really hard for me to imagine for the rookie to come in and play better than Nick Fairley has at that exact same position. Because Fairley has played very well with the exception of the Kansas City game. Hard for me to imagine Rankins coming to do better.
Fairly, so I'm not worried about. Not at all. I think he's played well, but I think the addition of, I'll say it this way, Tyler Davison is good at what he does.
Yeah.
And I think the Atlanta game definitely showed with him not there, it's a big drop off because John Jenkins, bless his heart, but he is who he is. And with the other guy, Onyemata, he's still learning. He's raw. He was a raw talent when they drafted him. They drafted him for the future, that he could possibly have some potential. But when it comes to Sheldon Rankins and Nick Fairley together, that's what I was interested in seeing. And even if it's no more than if the Saints defense gets 40 snaps a game and you try to package 15 of them, who's to say what can happen when you got those two guys creating that habit? Because Nick Fairley is almost unblockable when he wants to be. And if you add somebody next to him to where he can't get doubled, I think possibly, and to me personally, I think the Saints could have 2 more wins right now if Delvin Breaux, Sheldon Rankins are in the lineup, and definitely P.J. Williams. I think they definitely can have 2 more wins simply because Delvin Breaux is locking down Amari Cooper. I mean, even if it's a battle, you're not going to have that. And P.J. Williams on the other side who can fight with Michael Crabtree, because let's remember it was Crabtree that burned us for the game winner in Oakland. It was also Victor Cruz, not OBJ, who burned us for the game winning drive versus the Giants. I think if P.J. Williams is there, that play doesn't happen. Ken Crowley has perfect position, and he just can't make the play. He's an undrafted rookie free agent. Let's not pretend he's anything else. P.J. Williams makes that play. Delvin Breaux makes that play. And again, Crowley was in position to make the play. I think if he tries to bat the ball down and not intercept it, game is over. But he didn't understand down and distance, which, again, undrafted rookie free agent. I personally think the Saints would have 2 more victories if those guys are healthy. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. If was a fifth and all that other good stuff, we don't know what would have happened. The Saints have been injured. Some of the injuries can translate to wins. Those are the guys that I think would have contributed.
Well, come on, Patrick. Tell us who's right. Settle the argument. Come on.
Well, I do agree about the you lose both your starting outside cornerbacks and starting nickel back. In the first and second game, and even in training camp with Smart. I mean, yeah, that's going to definitely But the thing is that it just shows you the lack of depth on this team. And I think it would have probably 1 or 2 wins. I can agree with that. I do. But as far as rankings, I mean, if anything, first we haven't seen him play yet. But if anything, he can get Farley's playing at a high level. He can give Farley, getting that rotation, give him a breather. When they ease him in there, getting that rotation for where they're both going at it, and you got the constant pressure up the middle. Because Farley, he's been playing great, but at sometimes, he gets wind and he gets pushed around a little bit. But I can see that. And the main thing was losing both the starting quarterback. Now you got guys off the street playing. I mean, no knock on them.
Yeah,
come on.
Definitely no knock. I mean, guys like B.W. Webb and Moore have done better than we expected off the street, but they're still not bro-level starters. Much credit as we like to give Webb on certain plays, it's kind of like that whole offensive line thing. One play they look like great starters, and the next play, I mean, they're letting people get free reign at Drew Brees. So,
yeah, I mean, you say about in Crowley, he might make a good pass break up, the next thing you know, he's getting turned completely the wrong way, and his receiver's open 15 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think, especially with those comebacks, the Raiders and, how they came back. And even in this last game, when Seattle comes back on us, I mean, if you have your front line or your back line, corners back there starting, it's going to make a difference. It has to, because these guys were all through the OTAs, the training camps, just were ready to go. And injuries, it killed them. And there really is, this team lacks a lot of, and they got hit at one position really, really hard, and it hurt them. I mean, 1 or 2, we will be, 500 or maybe above it going into San Francisco. So, it changes the outlook on the season. It does. But if they can, just keep getting better and buying into the system and learning and getting more comfortable with it, they can do just enough, with the offense we have, and we're getting Bro back, which is huge, and Rankin's in there to give them a breather. So, I think, we would be having a different conversation about this season if that secondary hit now.
Well, guys, it's 8:53. So what I want from y'all is, one, I want y'all to let everybody know where they can find you. I mean, where you write, where you talk, where you chit-chat, your handles on Twitter. But with that, go ahead and throw us a prediction for this upcoming game in San Francisco, what you think we can do.
I'll start it off since we're going to, we have a special guest in there where we can make sure he gets his proper time. You can find me on Twitter at BrianTNR. I am there 24/7 day and night. I will reply to you at some point during the day, and I'll probably tell you something crazy when I do, because I'm just a fun-loving guy like that. But you can find me there. Of course, I'm always here every Tuesday with Rev doing the Dat Confessional, so make sure you tune in and you give us a listen. And if you have given us a listen and you like what you're hearing, tell a friend. Spread the word. We love that kind of stuff around here. As far as my prediction this week, last week I said the Saints had no chance of winning. This week I'm all in. I'm pushing all my chips to the table. I'm saying the Saints win 31-23.
Whew. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and throw mine out there just because I want Patrick to have enough time. But Rev Deuce Winham, and follow me on Twitter. It's at REVDEUCEWINDHAM. Y'all know that you can always find me here every Tuesday night, Dat Confessional, 7 to 9. I see this being a double-digit game. I see our defense, because they have played better on the road with the exception of giving up a lot to a talented Charger named Phillip Rivers. I see us winning double digits, 30-17. That's what I have us doing this Sunday against San Francisco. This should be the game where we put it away. Now, if we don't, we got no shot for me personally. I think we're done for the year. If we do, maybe next week we can convince Brian that this is a playoff team and that they're playing football in January. All right, Patrick, tell us where they can find you and end us out.
Okay, yeah, you can find me at Egghead Whodat on Twitter and you can find me writing at whodatwarriors.com. I usually have something out once a week, and I think the Saints won it, and they won it big. I think they won this game 27-13. I think the San Francisco, I know that defense, but I think San Francisco was going to happen. They're going to jump out on them, and they're going to take everything that San Francisco wants to do, trying to play catch up, and they're not built for it. They're be honest with you, they're going to take their will away from them. They're coming off the bye week, and it's going to be, oh no, not again. Here we go. So I just think they're going to lay the hammer down, take the will out, 27-13.
All right. Well, thanks everybody listening tonight here on Who Dat Confessional. It's always a pleasure that you join us. We just want to say God bless Who Dat, and guys, don't forget to follow us during the week. And this time, I want to throw this out there just for everybody, because this has been such an issue this year. For one, keep Nick Fairley in your prayers. I know it's been a couple weeks, but there's really not much that you can do in terms of time to get over losing your mother. So, keep in your prayers and keep the team in your prayers. The last thing we need is more injuries this year. I'm so sick and tired of seeing our guys hurting. So, pray that we go into San Francisco and we come out a full 53-man roster again. So, guys, thanks for listening in. We'll see y'all next week. God bless, Who Dat, and go Cubbies.
Call recording off.